Welcome to SST College of Arts and Commerce. You're watching SST Edupedia. I'm Assistant Professor Varsha Sawlani. In this lecture, we are going to learn WTO, that is World Trade Organization. This is a topic which is in TYBAF Sem 6 Indian Economy as well as in TYBCom Sem 6 Business Economics Paper 6. So World Trade Organization is the international organization which deals with the trading, which encourage the trading in the world. Let's see the history of the World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization's origins lies in the GATT, that is General Agreement on Tariff and Taxes. The Tariff and Trade, General Agreement on Tariff and Trade was legal agreement that aimed to reduce trade barriers by abolishing or reducing the quotas, tariff and subsidies. It was created to help the world economy to recover from the World War II by rebuilding and liberalizing the global trade. It was signed on 30th October 1947 by 23 countries. From 1948 to 1995, the GATT was the only multilateral instrument governing the international trade. In 1995, the GATT was replaced with the WTO. So the WTO evolved came into effect on 1st January 1995. So the WTO origin lies in the GATT, that is General Agreement on Tariff and Trade. The WTO is having the headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, which the WTO helps to facilitate goods, services as well as intellectual property. The overall representation of the WTO is in the world trade, that is 98% of the world trade comes from this organization. Let's see the agreements signed by the WTO. The WTO has signed the agreement which generally called it as WTO's trade rules, or we can call it as rule-based system. The WTO has signed many different agreements, approximately 60 different agreements the WTO has signed. Out of that, we will see the top 5 agreements that are signed by the World Trade Organization. The first agreement is AOA, Agreement on Agriculture. The second agreement is Agreement on Trade in Textile and Clothing, that is ATC. The third agreement is Agreement on Trade Related Investment Measures, that is TRIMS. Then fourth agreement is Agreement on Trade Related Intellectual Property Rights, that is TRIPS. The fifth agreement is Agreement on Trade in Services, that is GATS, General Agreement on Trade in Services. These are the top 5 agreements which are signed by the WTO. We can say these are the very important agreements for the development of the nation. Rest also are the agreements which are important, but these are the major part which covers the syllabus of both the classes. So let's see the first agreement which is signed by the WTO, which was initiated during the Uruguay round, which was the 8th round meeting of the GATT. Okay. At that point of time, the AOA was established to fair and market-oriented agricultural trading system. The overall aim of Agreement of Agriculture is to establish a fairer trading system that will increase the access to the market and also improves the livelihood of the farmers in the entire world. The Agreement on Agriculture has 3 pillars. Number 1 pillar is having the good market access, giving the domestic support to the farmers, and reduces the export subsidies. These are the three important pillars which are the part of agreement on agriculture. So the second agreement is ATC, that is Agreement on Textile and Clothing. The Agreement on Textile and Clothing was negotiated during the Uruguay round of trade negotiations. This was replaced by the arrangement regarding international trade in textile, and we called it as a multi-fiber agreement, MFA, which was established on December 1973, which was now it's been replaced as ATC, that is Agreement on Textile and Clothing. Each member chooses what products to integrate, provides which covers at least one product of the following four groups in ATC. The four groups covered under the ATC are tops and yarns, first group, second group fabrics, third group's made-ups, and fourth group is clothing. Out of these four groups, at least one agreement should be there. The third agreement which is signed by the WTO is TRIMS, that is Trade Related Investment Measures. The trade related investment measures, the main aim is to applicable to the domestic regulations of a country applies to a foreign investors, often as a part of an industrial policy. The TRIMS are the rules that restrict the preferences of the domestic investors or domestic firms and thereby enable the international firms to operate more easily in the foreign country. The policies which are signed under TRIMS are local content requirement, manufacturing requirement, sales requirement, trade balancing, technology transfer, export performance requirement, local equity restrictions, foreign exchange restrictions, licensing, employment restrictions. These are the main aim under the TRIMS, which attracts the foreign investors to invest in the Indian stock markets. The next agreement is TRIPS, that is Trade Related Intellectual Property Rights. The intellectual property is nothing but the creation of the minds of an individuals which has a commercial or a moral value. The individuals, those who are innovated, having a creative mind, so innovations, they have to do the IPR, intellectual property rights. It is a type of intangible asset. The TRIPS also specifies that there should be a protection and enforcement that meet the objectives to contribute to the promotions of the technological innovation. The types of IPR are patents, copyrights, trademarks, designs. Patents are being taken on the technology having the maturity period of 20 years, validity period of 20 years. Copyrights are on the content, artist, lyrics, etc., which are having the validity of after the death of the person, after that 70 years there is a rights to that person. Trademark is on the name, symbol, logo is taken by the companies, that is which is represented as TM. Design is taken on the outer structure or overall structure, design, pattern, packaging. On that part the design is being taken. So IPR comprises of patents, trademarks, copyrights, designs, then structure, etc. The last agreement out of 5 agreements are GATT, that is General Agreement on Trade in Services. The General Agreement on Trade in Services was came into enforce in the year 1995 as a result of the Uruguay regulations, Uruguay round negotiation. The treaty was created to existent multilateral trading system to the service sector. The service sector having the wide range of services which is categorized into a 12 sectors and subdivided into a 155 subsectors. The sectors under services includes health, education, transport, tourism, construction, distribution, recreation and cultural activities, etc. The main objective, the primary objective of trade and services are to ensure that all the signatories are treated equally, which are having the access in the foreign markets also, to promote progressive liberalization of trade and services. That is a main important part, and currently we can see the majority of the percentage in the GDP comes from the service sector itself. So that is a fifth agreement, that is General Agreement on Trade and Services. So these are the top 5 agreements which are signed by the WTO, which is very important for the economic development of a nation. The agreements, no doubt, are signed many, that is around 60 agreements are signed by the WTO. These are the important agreements, that is Agreement on Agriculture, Agreement on Textile and Clothing, Agreement on Trade Related Investment Measures, that is TRIMS, Agreement on Trade Related Intellectual Property Rights, that is TRIPS, and General Agreement on Trade and Services, that is GATS. Okay. Thank you for watching.